I feel duped and I feel swindled because
By who?
by the masses, by
Okay.
everyone, by every living soul on this planet Earth, I feel duped and swindled because Wemby is just not what they say he is. He's just not. And every time I watch him, I'm looking for it, and I've never seen it. And I'll stand on the mountain alone against me versus the billion other people in the world, and I'll just be wrong about it. I just don't think he ever will get there. That's Wemby and Chet. Okay. Again, I've been a Chet guy this whole time. You know, my whole thing on this is I feel duped and I feel swindled because
By who?
by the masses, by
Okay.
everyone, by every living soul on this planet Earth, I feel duped and swindled because Wemby is just not what they say he is. He's just not. And every time I watch him, I'm looking for it, and I've never seen it. And I'll stand on the mountain alone against me versus the billion other people in the world, and I'll just be wrong about it. I just don't think he ever will get there. The transformational best player in the world. He's next. He's the next guy. He's all world. Let's put him on the all NBA teams now. He's this and he's that. I don't see that. I see a good NBA player. That's what I see. I see a budding star. I don't know, man. Am I not watching the same basketball that everyone else is watching? I'm watching a Chet who is just, in my opinion, better. And it's hard to, whatever. They're going to play whatever 4 times this year. And I understand OKC is probably going to win it 3-1. The series, just like they did last year. I think they swept them last year because OKC is the better team. And it's hard to assess, even though they play the same position. I don't feel as comfortable doing it like Luka beats Anthony Edwards' team every time they play, because for the most part, those teams are comparable and have been since they've been in the league. Give or take, those are comparable teams. OKC and the Spurs are not. OKC is a much better team than the San Antonio Spurs, even though the Spurs are slightly better this year. So it's hard to assess as far as head-to-head wins, But as far as their output versus other teams, especially early on in the season, Chet has just been a better player. And again, I'll stand on the mountain. I could be loud and wrong. I just don't see it.
I'm not conceding anything at this point. I think we had a very similar conversation at the beginning of last year. Chet got out of the gates probably a little bit better than Wemby, but by the end of the year, I thought Wemby on the whole had a better season and probably showed more upside. Chet, to his credit, has been phenomenal the first 4 or 5 games right now, and probably outperforming Wemby. We'll see them head-to-head tonight. But the point you made, to me, OKC is a legitimate title-contending team, and they should beat the Spurs. Wemby has had some okay games so far. He's not started in a dominant fashion for sure, and that team has not played particularly well. And so it's still up there, but I'm not conceding, anything on Wemby not being able to be a genuine superstar in the league. I'm still very optimistic about what he could accomplish. But Chet has had the better start, and that's not really deniable at this point.
And what's interesting is because Chet doesn't have that cachet, I don't think they'll ever put him in that class, because the thing is, Shea has that cachet for that team, and then Wemby has the cachet on the Spurs team. It is extremely hard, if you think about it, in the NBA over the course of the history of the NBA. It's damn near impossible for the second best player on that team, no matter how good they are, no matter how great they are,
to supplant
or to be in the conversation versus the best players on other teams, not even on their particular
Well,
team.
yeah,
like
but-
Jalen Browns
but-
get disrespected, the Scottie Pippens get disrespected.
Yeah.
I disrespect Dwayne Wade.
But
But
for the very reason that you're saying, like the way NBA teams are constructed and a way that they're publicly appreciated, there's a hierarchy. And if one guy has kind of become the one, and that's SGA, like it's hard to overcome that on your own team, and you can't overcome the rest of the league in a public perception if you're basically viewed as the second best guy on your own team. You're just there's a ceiling there that you're not getting through until you are perceived to be the main guy on your own team.
Yeah, and that's
just a
tough.
reality to that.
It's tough and it's BS because it is what you said. It's how you are perceived. It's perception. It's not actually the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what Kevin Durant was running from that whole time. It's perception. That it's not his team. I got to get my own team so I could be back with the Titans and in the LeBron conversations and this, and that. That's all it was. I don't give a damn what he says on the back end. That's exactly what it was. And then sometimes, the perception is just not accurate. Jaylen Brown was better than Jason Tatum last year. It just is what it is. That's why he won Eastern Conference, the playoffs MVP. That's why he won the Finals MVP. He was a better player over the course of the season. But because Jason Tatum always had that cachet, it just stays with you.
Yeah,
it just sticks with you. This year, Chet Holmgren is better than Shea because he's been the best defender. Like he
started out the season as good as anybody in the league.
But he won't get it. And I understand he might tail off just like you said, like he did last season, even though Shea was the consistent best player on the team last year, the whole year. But this year we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
But once you get that cachet, it's like it's sticking with you.
It's extremely difficult to offset.
Yeah. It is. So
because I mean, like so much of sports are driven by narratives.
Yeah.
And the narratives are easy for the simple person to digest.
Yeah,
it just gives them a reference point to, here's what it is. Now I can have a conversation with my friends or my coworkers or whatever. But to kind of go a level below that and really kind of analyze things a little bit closer, that all of that's very fluid.
Yeah.
And again, the other thing it's analogous to is you have this like who's the best player on the planet right now. It's like that's completely fluid.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. Players have good days and bad days, stretches of elite play and stretches of play when they're not at their best. And then, you get team dynamic, collective win. It's all there. It's just not a simple calculus of, hey, that's the best guy. It just doesn't work that way.
I couldn't even tell you definitively and with a lot of confidence who is the best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Just couldn't do it.
I mean, we're at the beginning of a season, and there's so many things that could or might happen. I mean, there's certain guys that, if healthy, they're in the discussion.
Yeah.
Luka, Jokic, but that's what it is. It's a discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, and ideally, and I don't give a fuck about the official MVP criteria, but like what you should be doing is getting to the end of an NBA season and celebrating who did it best this year.
Yeah.
And not just
the
narratives, and all this other stuff.
I can't give it to him because he got it last year, and all of the, he's never won it. This city has never had one. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. It's you just got to do the best you can in kind of evaluating those things. But yeah, I mean, again, Chet has found a really great start to the season. We'll see how it goes, and I'm sure internally, like people like OKC fans who watch the team and are somewhat knowledgeable, we might be 40, 50 games into this, and they might be feeling, hey, Chet's the better guy, like on a consistent basis. Like it may play out that way. Now, public perception, national narrative, probably not.
Right.
It's much more difficult to overcome that. And again, like it's that thing, like, if you have knowledge, if you're knowledgeable, don't worry about what other people say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, form your own opinion. If you think Chet's the second best player in the NBA and his performance game in and game out shows that, then it is what it is, regardless of what the narrative around OKC or any other team might be.
Yeah. What's fun about this matchup though is one thing I'll give one, and like I said, I'm not anti Wemby. I enjoy watching them play. It's not like watching paint dry, watching Wemby. this matchup is it gives him extra juice. Both of them really, they have this. But like you've watched these two play in the past, like they both understand what's going on, and they want to fucking kill each other, like in basketball wise, and it's fun to watch, and Wemby always brings it, man, when he goes up against Chet, no matter what's on his team.
And that's what it means to be a competitor.
Yeah, it's
like you as a knowledgeable competitor, you know who's really good.
Yeah.
And it should matter to you when you're playing that guy. And it's a guy that you likely will spend some time guarding or whatever. That's the nature of the beast, and I'm glad two young guys are approaching it that way.
And they understand.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah. I always give Embiid that credit as well, because he, anytime he's going up against another Titan center, I mean, he takes it like it's Game 7 of the finals. And I enjoy that, and like you said, it's all about that competitive spirit. All right. Let's move it along here. Quick thing. Let's interject here. Did I have any other NBA thing? I did. Let's quickly get to this last NBA thing here. The Hawks, the number one pick, Zach. I call him Zach because good luck, going with that name there. Do you know how to pronounce that name?
I pronounce it as Risacker.
Okay,
but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's what I came up with.
This was just interesting to me, the statement that he made. He said, back in France, I was super athletic, and now I'm just a regular dude. They were talking about, his experience so far, what you could perceive as struggles, early on struggles. And he was like, man, I utilized my athleticism. It was so much better than everyone else. That's how I got by. And now I'm just a regular Joe out here, man.
Yeah. It's an interesting and candid remark. I saw him a bit in Summer League. I haven't seen a Hawks game yet during the regular season. He did not strike me as being a super athletic guy at all. Yeah. So I don't know who the hell he's playing against in France. But for context, I mean, Wemby's French, and there's you go back to like guys like Boris Diaw and Michael Pietrus. They were very athletic players.
Yeah, especially Pete.
And what Boris Diaw was incredibly athletic.
He didn't
look the part.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of stories that he was way more athletic than he ever was given credit for.
Yeah.
But so I assume that I know with French football, like it's tons of African immigrants and very athletic and fast players. So I don't know where this guy was playing. I mean, maybe he was in the countryside or something. I don't know. But it's not a surprising comment. But he was fooling himself if he thought he was super athletic. I don't know what metric he's using to define that.